100%.
Okay, 100% likelihood. That means that based on that logic, the World Series can be decided on Shohei Ohtani pitching the day after that game was largely decided. Now, Freddie Freeman had the walk-off, but largely decided on Shohei Ohtani's bat. Remember, Dodgers had only scored 5 runs before Freddie Freeman hit the walk-off home run in the bottom of the 18th. Of those 5 runs, Shohei Ohtani drove in 3 of them.
Not bad. He's having himself quite the series, huh?
Yeah. It's just... And I'm really excited. Who was it? Do you remember which of our excellent listeners asked the Wembanyama, Mahomes, Ohtani question? I don't remember either, but we have a great start bench cut for tomorrow involving those 3 guys. And it just speaks to like the level of greatness we're surrounded by in sports right now.
We can thank in advance that question, Zach, no longer in Cali.
By the way, I know that you're not a big soccer guy the way that I am. But there's a guy named Lamine Yamal who's operating at that level. If you wanted to get a little tennis, right? Carlos Alcaraz is probably that guy, that center dude, that center cat. He's pretty good if you want to get into WNBA. I know she's been injured, but Caitlin Clark, when the next season rolls around, right, is a potentially generational talent. There's a lot of all-time great level athletes doing their thing right now.
We could be in the golden era of sports in terms of, like, if you want to talk like sports goats, there you could argue, like you said, 7 or 8 sports have who could be considered a goat when it's all said and done playing right now.
The reason I haven't done that take is I have written that column 3 times. I think I did it in 2010, 2014, and 2017 or something. But it gets increasingly true. But part of the premise was, all right, no one's going to come around and be better than LeBron. Wembanyama could be. No one's going to come around and be better than Brady. Mahomes could be. Not a guarantee, not a lock. And no one's going to ever be the best baseball player of all time because the history's too deep and long and there's too many. The sample size is too big to compete against. I mean, I think if Shohei Ohtani wins 5 World Series with the Dodgers, no one's going to remember the money they spent. They're just going to be, that guy's the best of all time. All right, we have to go. How many World Series does Shohei win with the Dodgers? I'll go 6 in his career.
I will go 4.
Yeah, I went higher. I went bigger. I went bold. Just like my personality versus Ryan's. Thanks for listening. Have a great show. We'll see you back here tomorrow on Righter Than You.
O'Reilly. Trust the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the products for your next oil change. Right now, get 5 quarts of Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a Wix filter for $35.99. Plus, get a $15 gift card after rebate. Limits apply. See your O'Reilly Auto Parts store for details or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
These new cars are so advanced.
Thank you, Tim.
You can talk? Can you give me advice?
Well, you should have bought me with the Navy Federal Credit Union auto loan.
Really?
Correct. You could have received great rates and a pre-approval that's good for 90 days.
Do you have an off feature?
Do not be rude, Tim.
Learn more at NavyFederal.org/auto loans. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Credit and collateral subject to...
Make things happen this year with a new John Deere. In just one visit to Quality Equipment, you'll find the right lawnmower, compact tractor, or Gator UTV that will save you time and money on your next project. Keep things running all season long with the help of our experienced parts and service team. Your new Deere isn't far away. Find current offers and budget-friendly packages at your local Quality Equipment with 36 locations across North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit QualityEquip.com to get started. That's QualityEquip.com.
Michaels & Gateway Cosmetic and Family Dentistry has been Greenville's premier dental practice for over 40 years. I am Dr. Chris Gateway, and our mission at Michaels & Gateway is to provide exceptional dental care with compassion, integrity, and innovation, ensuring every patient leaves with a healthy, confident smile. Doctors Michaels & Gateway are committed to providing an outstanding patient experience with every visit. Not only do we offer all your dental needs under one roof, in most cases, we can take care of those needs on the same day. Bring your smile to us at Michaels & Gateway Cosmetic and Family Dentistry.
Homeowners can face many challenges throughout this season. But our newest New Blue star, Dixon Williams, is here to slide in and save the day. Have a clog that's hitting a foul ball and nothing seems to be getting through? Dixon's fixing to get you flowing again. Feeling like your HVAC's in a slump? Dixon's sliding in to get your comfort back on track. Are swinging blind in a power outage? Dixon is delivering a power boost. So when problems arise, turn home strikeouts into home runs with New Blue Electric, Plumbing, and Air.
The price is always right at Doug Henry of Greenville. Doug Henry of Greenville is under new management with over 300 vehicles to choose from and brand new inventory arriving daily. Doug Henry is easy to find on the corner of Greenville Boulevard and Memorial Drive and always online at DougHenryGreenville.com. Come on down and purchase the vehicle of your dreams today at Doug Henry of Greenville. Right on the corner, right on the price. Doug Henry of Greenville. Go Pirates!
Hey Pirate Nation, this is Caroline Cook, and if you need an experienced realtor from Eastern North Carolina that was born a pirate, then give me a call. I'm committed to helping you find your dream home, selling your property for the best possible price, and providing top-notch real estate services. I pride myself on local knowledge, professionalism, and commitment to exceeding your expectations. Explore my website, CarolineCookHomes.com, to learn more about the services I provide and the properties I have to offer. Start your real estate journey today by calling 341-1992. Go Pirates!
Sam Jones Barbecue is throwing a Smokehouse Showdown November 16th. We're shutting down the restaurant to celebrate 10 years in business while giving back to the community. Our Smokehouse staff is split up into 4 teams and will be competing in a wing, rib, and side competition. Buy your ticket today to get in on the tasting and help us raise money for Make-A-Wish Eastern NC. We'll have live music, free barbecue, free chili water, Pitt Street beer, and Pepsi products, all included in your ticket. Every cent we raise will go to Make-A-Wish Eastern NC. Find out more information at samjonesbarbecue.com.
CopyPro, the professional office systems people, have been serving Eastern North Carolina since 1971. From Greenville to Wilmington, businesses trust CopyPro for reliable technology, award-winning service, and top brands like Konica Minolta and Ricoh. Need multi-function printers, document management, or network solutions? CopyPro delivers powerful tools backed by certified technicians and a team dedicated to your success. CopyPro, professional people, professional systems, powerful results. Visit copypro.net or call 756-3175 today.
When it comes to building or remodeling your home, every detail matters. Hi, this is Kathy Herring with KDL Construction, and we believe great design begins with careful planning and ends with flawless execution. With open communication and a true partnership mindset, we guide you through every step, turning your vision into reality. Our goal, to deliver more than a building project. We create an experience that is seamless, stress-free, and inspiring. Visit KDLConstructionLLC.com to start your transformation today. KDL Construction, your vision, our craft.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. This is Eastern North Carolina's longest-running sports radio call-in show. The Brian Bailey Show is on the air. The Brian Bailey Show on Pirate Radio is brought to you by
Bojangles, Bostic Sugg, Michelob Ultra, East Coast Grading, Gavigan Insurance, Greenville Auto World, Greenville Utilities, Papa John's, Pepsi, QC Kinetics, Taft and Hagler, The Rick House, and Tiebreakers.
And now, here's Brian Bailey.
And welcome in on this dreary Tuesday at noon here on the Brian Bailey Show. Hopefully we can brighten up your day. Got a good show planned for you. Coming up first, the head coach of the Temple Owls and his Temple Owl football team has had a good season so far. Casey Keeler doing a great job. Temple at 5-3, 3-1 in the American, taking on East Carolina Pirates, of course, 4-3 and 2-1 in the American. Temple coming off a win over Tulsa, 38-37. They've had some close games. They lost to Navy by a single point. So we're going to talk with Casey Keeler coming up in our first half hour. In the back half hour, we're going to talk about the Crosstown Throwdown coming up. It's D.H. Conley and J.H. Rose, that annual rivalry. So we'll talk with Will Bland, Nate Connor, and check in with those guys talking a little high school football. First off, let's talk a little bit about the Temple game with East Carolina as we get set for things. A 2-point conversion away. this Temple team is from being 6-2 and 4-0 in the American. They lost 32-31 to the Navy Midshipmen. There was a chance late in that game that the Temple Owls could have kicked a field goal, decided not to. Navy took advantage of it, drove down the field, scored the touchdown and went for two, got the 2-point conversion, and escaped with that 32-31 win. But besides that, Temple really playing some great football. They don't turn the football over, which is absolutely amazing. Through 8 games, they have 1 turnover, and their quarterback, Evan Simon, has thrown 21 touchdown passes so far this year with no INTs. So this is an East Carolina football team that likes to create turnovers, and they're going to have their hands full against a pretty solid Temple team coming up on Saturday afternoon in Philadelphia. We all know that trips to Philly can be tricky for really good Pirate football teams. Remember, Shane Carden and company went up to Temple that one year back in the day and have really struggled against the Owls and lost that football game. But, you think about Temple and the Owls and some of the coaches they've had. Matt Rule comes to mind. Of course, he went on to the Panthers, now at Nebraska. Bruce Arians had a successful career in the NFL. And way back, Pop Warner. I didn't know this until we started doing some research on the Temple Owls. But Pop Warner, you think so much about Pop Warner football and the youth and all the organizations there. But Pop Warner was the head coach at Temple from 1933 to 1938. Look at the American standings before we go to break. Navy at 5-0 and 7-0 with the fast track to maybe play for the conference championship. Tulane's 3-0, 6-1 overall. USF is 3-1 in the league. North Texas is 3-1. Memphis 3-1. Temple 3-1, and East Carolina at 2-1. So the Pirates obviously need a win in this football game to keep pace and try to weasel their way into a possible matchup for the American Championship that first weekend in December. Once again, Casey Keeler is standing by in Philadelphia, the head coach of the Temple Owls. We'll catch up with him coming up next on the Brian Bailey Show on this rainy Tuesday. Back with more after this.
Hi, I'm Ken Hagler of Taft, Hagler. We're proud to be sponsors of the Brian Bailey Show and the Pirate Nation on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. If you've been injured on the job or due to someone else's negligence in an automobile collision, call us at 752-2000 for a free consultation with experienced professionals who care. Go Pirates!
Want to make your day better? You can now order 2 large original crust one-topping pizzas from Papa John's for only $9.99 each. Take advantage of this awesome carry-out special now by logging on to papajohns.com and make today a pizza day for only $9.99 each. Papa John's is the MVP move for game day or any day. Place your order online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards and start earning points for your favorite menu items. Go Pirates! Greenville Utilities customers should be proud to know their electric, natural gas, water, and wastewater utilities are owned by the community. That means decisions are made locally, not in some other city or state. It means the utilities are run in the best interest of the community, not to make profits for out-of-state shareholders. It means reliability is high while rates remain low. Greenville Utilities, safely providing reliable utility solutions for the Greenville region since 1905.
Hauser untouched into the end zone. Touchdown, ECU.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is Caden Hauser, and the best way to relax after getting rowdy and dowdy is by having the most comfortable furniture from Bosick Sugg of Greenville. Every Pirate needs a good night's sleep, and Bosick Sugg has a showroom full of quality mattresses from the top brands. Outfit your living room to watch every game with a sectional or lazy boy recliner. Pirates prefer Bosick Sugg, serving Eastern North Carolina since 1937, and a proud member of the Pirate Club for over 5 decades. Go Pirates!
Shopping season is in full swing at Russell's in downtown Washington. This is Rhonda, and new arrivals are everywhere in the store. We have new sportswear from Peter Millar, Johnny O, Gentile, and Duckhead. The pants, shirts, sweaters, and vests are all on the showroom floor, ready for you. Shop now for a new sports coat from Johnny O, Harshafter Marks, or Duckhead. And ladies, we're fully stocked with new dresses, sweaters, outerwear, and jewelry. Russell's on Main Street in downtown Washington. Go Pirates!
For pest control that packs a punch, BAM! Call on the experts at BAM Pest Control.
Attention Greenville, BAM Pest Control is here to protect what matters most, whether it's your business, your home, or your peace of mind. They don't just eliminate pests, they knock them out. BAM Pest Control is #1 in insect control, rodent control, and yard services like fire ants and mosquitoes. BAM! You're insect-free, safe, and comfortable. Call the experts at BAM Pest Control on Hooker Road in Greenville, 252-751-3160. BAM!
This is Garrett Saylor, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
And welcome back to our show. As promised, Casey Keeler is the head football coach at Temple. His Owls will take on East Carolina coming up on Saturday. He joins us from Philadelphia. Coach Keeler, how are you?
Brian, I'm doing awesome. How you guys doing down there?
Not too bad. Getting ready for, finally, at East Carolina, we're getting ready to play some Saturday football because we've had a bizarre October with just 2 games, both on Thursday nights. So it's been a long time coming that the Pirates finally get to play on a Saturday.
Yeah, 16 days off. You know, I mean, I've done this a long time. I don't always love the bye week. I like one of those half weeks, you know, where you can get like maybe play on a Thursday, then play on the next Saturday. But, boy, 16 days, you always worry you're going to come out a little stale.
Yeah, I asked Coach Harrell that yesterday at his press conference, and I said, are you worried about, any rust setting in? And he said no. He thought that it was good. And I think it is good, getting some time off, rest some folks, try to get some of those bumps and bruises healed up. But still, that is a long, long time, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we wish we had that get better week, we call around here this week because – we played some real physical games the last couple of weeks, and we're a little banged up. Most of the boys were out there Monday, today practicing, but again, a number of games in a row in this conference that they can beat you up.
All right, let's talk about those Temple Owls. 5-3 on the season, 3-1 in the American, and a 2-point conversion away from being 6-2 and 4-0. I mean, you've got this Owl football team playing some really good football, don't you?
Yeah, we kind of walked into a situation where we had some good players here. We added some talent. We didn't come in and blow the whole thing up, and that's not my style to begin with. I'm very much more of a lot of these kids came to Temple to get this education. If that's what they wanted to do, and they were going to buy into what we were doing, let's go. And so we kept a lot of the guys that were here, added some key pieces, and then I think we've done a good job coaching them up, and we're getting better and better. Had a tough one against Navy. One of those that can linger a little bit. And one of the great things is that our quarterback, Evan Simon, asked to talk to the team Monday after that loss to Navy and basically told the team, like, we're not going to let Navy beat us twice, and we didn't. We went down to Charlotte the next week and got things taken care of. So have some good leadership on the team, some maturity on the team, and excited to play what I think is a really good East Carolina team. I think when you look at the upper echelons of this league, East Carolina's right there with those people.
When you look at your ball club, what you've been able to do is really almost unheard of. 1 turnover in 8 games. That's really difficult. And your quarterback, as you mentioned, Evan Simon, 21 touchdowns and no interceptions. I mean, when you don't turn the ball over, you got a chance to win every game.
Absolutely. You win 70% of your games if you win the turnover margin by 1 in college football. And so it's a major emphasis for us. So 2 things. But the first thing is we do a great job in practice, really working on those ball security drills. And our guys, I mean, every time they have the ball, I mean, it is a ball security drill. It doesn't matter what drill they're doing. It's a ball security drill. Other things, we do a pretty good job of, working on punching the ball out and second man in, getting that ball out if possible. So we've learned on we've leaned hard on the turnover margin. It's been good for us. And it's something we're going to have on Saturday if we can beat East Carolina.
What attracted you to the job at Temple? And when I think of Temple football coaches, at least in my time, I think of Matt Rule, obviously, Bruce Arians, way back, Pop Warner, and now you put Casey Keeler in that group.
Yeah, so I'm from the area, was recruited by Temple, and unfortunately that filled up. And I ended up at University of Delaware and had a great experience there. But in my 3 years at playing varsity football at Delaware, played Temple 3 times. First time it was in 1978, and we had a pretty good team at Delaware. Actually, we're runner-up for the national championship. And I can remember Temple embarrassing us. it was one of those locker rooms where after the game you couldn't believe like how physical they were and how they just, you didn't have a chance. The next year, my Delaware team's even better. We win the national championship. We go 13-1, and our loss was to Temple. Then my senior year, I was fortunate enough to step in front of a pass and took it 75 yards for a touchdown on ESPN, one of the first games early on at ESPN, and we ended up beating them my senior year. But I saw Temple up close and personal, and I saw the kind of physical brand it can be. It's only been a decade since Temple had greatness. 2015, they beat Penn State. They go wire to wire with Notre Dame. They're nationally ranked. So, again, I think what I saw was coming back here and trying to get the greatness back that Temple once had. Also, I have 3 grandchildren that live over in Wilmington, Delaware. So my daughter's over there, and it's great to be back with the family. And so I think that was a big part of me coming home, too.
And there's nothing like a grandchild. I tell you what, as soon as you said that, I lit up.
Yeah. Got 3 of them, and my wife was down at Sea Witch Festival in Rehoboth Beach with them this weekend, and just to see the pictures, because obviously we were on the road, just see the pictures of their faces just being at the festival and how the smiles on their face. I mean, it is great to be back east. There's no question.
When you look at your Temple Owls in the battle to make the conference championship game, you're right in the middle of it. I mean, you look at the standings, Navy's 5-0, and you played Navy tougher than anybody. Then you got Tulane at 3-0, but you got South Florida with one loss. North Texas has 1. Memphis has 1. Temple has 1. East Carolina has 1. So this thing is absolutely wide open. And the thing that I think back to Charlotte in the American kickoff back in late July, and what you told me, you said, Brian, there are a lot of 50-50 games on our schedule. And I said, I think there's a 50-50 game coming up November the 1st. And that was a long time before November the 1st. But I think this one is one of those 50-50s. And you've had a bunch, haven't you?
Yeah, I getting into this league and just knowing the people that play in this league and how well coached it is, if you're in 50-50 games, you must feel pretty good about your team. I feel really good about our team. And so, we're excited to be in those 50-50 games. Unfortunately, we lost one of those 50-50 games against Navy, a game that, we walked away, thinking we should have won. And then we won one of those 50-50 games against Tulsa, where I'm sure they walked off the field thinking they should have won. So it's the nature of the game. I was really proud how our players handled, a really tough end of half where we don't punch it in on 5 opportunities inside the 3, and then they take it 98 yards for a touchdown. It's a 14-point swing. And I thought, walking into that locker room, our kids were poised. They were frustrated, but they kept their heads and were ready to go out and play the second half. And that's what I told them at halftime. I said, guys, just take a deep breath. Let's go fight in the second half. We're a better football team than what we showed the first half. And, when you get those kind of wins on the road in overtime, I think it can really, catapult your season forward, and that's what we're hoping we got this past weekend.
It's funny that the way the overtime rules work now, and you see teams that don't even wait until you have to go for 2. They'll go for 2 early on. This past weekend, North Carolina went for 2 and didn't get it against Virginia and lost the game. But when you think about the Americans, some people have told me this, they think, Army and Navy are built for those 2-point conversions. That's what they do. 4 yards in a cloud of dust, and they're going to get a lot of 2s.
Absolutely. And you saw when we played them, they went for the 2-point conversion to win the game. I think part of that also, they felt we were the better team that day.
Yeah.
I think they wanted to see if they could get this thing over with, on one play. But, like I said, I've not been disappointed in the quality of football in this league. Been really impressed with, the physicality of it, the talent in this league. And, again, I think East Carolina and Temple are fighting to be in the upper echelons of this league, which, if you're fighting to be in the upper echelons of this league, you have a good football team.
Casey Keeler, he is the head football coach of the Temple Owls. His Temple Owls play host to East Carolina coming up this week. What's it like as a college coach playing in an NFL stadium for your home games at Lincoln Financial Field? Do you like it? Would you rather play, in a smaller venue? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so the thing is, we have just such great facilities there, and the Eagles do such a great job taking care of us. The field's immaculate. You have a great locker room. So when we had our homecoming, we had a phenomenal crowd there. So I think, when you have 15,000, 16,000 or 20,000 and you're in a 70,000 seat stadium, sometimes it doesn't seem like that's the atmosphere you want. But I mean, our kids love going down there, love playing there, love the history of the link. Guys are the Super Bowl champions or right, playing there on Sundays right after us a lot of times. So it's been fine. I think there's been a lot of talk about a on-campus venue here at some point, but I think that's a little bit further down the road.
What are your facilities like at Temple on campus?
Oh, gorgeous! Yeah, I mean, I was really surprised, taking the job. Getting here at the EO, where we have, 1.5 fields right outside my door, beautiful weight room, great meeting space, dining area, team meeting area. I mean, so everything's all contained right here on 10th and Diamond. And I know our players and the former players have always made a big deal about, being built on 10th and Diamond. Like, this is where we're built. And so we have a great complex here, and I think it's one of the real attractions when you bring recruits on campus.
Before we talk about East Carolina and the game coming up, let's talk about a former Pirate assistant that you know a whole lot about, Coach Tim Dowse. We're all big fans of Coach Dowse, and you're a big fan as well.
Oh, yeah, he was a terrific football coach for us at Sam Houston when I was there. And then obviously went to East Carolina, now he's at Pitt. And I know when I talked to him when he was at East Carolina, he just had loved his experience there. I got a little bit closer, with him in terms of talking about, the great fan base that comes out for home games, and just, if you're in that part of the woods, you're a Pirate now. I mean, it's all about East Carolina football. And so, yeah, great tradition down there, and excited to, have a chance to play them for the first time.
All right, here we go. East Carolina coming up on Saturday. When you look at the Pirate football team, you see Keaton Hauser at quarterback, some excellent tight ends and wide receivers. What do you do to combat all that?
Yeah, I mean, they're really talented. Quarterback's a really good football player, very steady, more of a pocket passer, but is athletic enough that he can move around. You have the big tight ends until you can get the run game going, but at the same time, you get some play action pass. Love the wide receiver group they have also. Offensive line is big and physical. So, I know talking to our defensive guys, like, ooh, this might be one of the more talented offenses we'll see this year. On the defensive side, I love the front. It all starts up front, and they're athletic and they're physical. And again, like I said, they have good linebackers and they have, good back end. But again, I think it all starts up front with their defense.
When you look at the Pirates coming off of that 16-day layover, I mean, you talked a little bit about the chances of rust, but that's a pretty good advantage when you're going into a football game if one team has 16 days off.
Yeah, and I think the advantage is the fact that at this time in the season, you're looking for those opportunities to get some time off, because you just, everyone's banged up now, especially how physical this league is. But again, I've done this a long time, and I've had some of those 16-day offs, and I've had teams that come out a little sluggish too. So I think it's going to be interesting, to see how they start up. If they don't start up right away, it's just going to take a series or two, because they're a good football team, and I think they have a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I think in talking to Coach Harrell, they really want to start fast, and I think if they do, they'll get some confidence. But I worry about the rust as well. I really think that when you have that much time off, the timing and that kind of thing can be key. What do you think of Coach Harrell, the job he's done?
Oh, phenomenal job. I know Coach Dowse is a huge fan, and I think, since he stepped in to be the head coach, they've just had success. So if you look at the schedule, lost to 2 Power Fours, and then obviously, had a tough one with Tulane. And I think they feel like we feel, that we're battling to be in the upper echelon of this conference. And a game like this will help us move into that upper echelon. So I think we're both fighting for the same thing. I think it's 2 good football teams going to play on a Saturday afternoon.
All right, Coach, we'll wrap things up with you, because I know you got lots to do this week. What's the key in this game against East Carolina?
Yeah, I think we got to play, we have to handle their tempo, because they do such a great job of that. I think we have to match their physicality, because it's going to be a really physical football game. And the key thing for us is, just what we've done. We've gotten people to turn the ball over, and we've also not turned the ball over. So, when you win that turnover battle, that helps you a whole bunch. And I think winning the turnover battle is going to be really critical for them.
I think so, too. And this is a team in Temple. The Owls have only 1 turnover in 8 games. I mean, that is just unbelievable that you can go through all of that. And you talked a little bit about ball security and every drill and everything, but still, it's got to take a little bit of luck as well. But 1 turnover in 8 games, you got to be very pleased with that.
Well, yeah, and I think it also comes with a really heady quarterback who's not going to put us in harm's way. And I do this thing on Fridays, Brian. I call it my reminders. And the funny thing is, it's the same reminders every week because you win and lose football games for the same reasons every single week. And one of the things I always talk about is like winning the turnover battle. And, you know, for the quarterback, sometimes the best ball you're going to throw is the one you throw away. And like, if it's not there, don't force it. Now, he'll know his situation. He'll know, like, hey, we need to make a play. Time's running down. Yeah, he might, put one in there if he has to. But if it's not clean, he's done a really good job of being patient, throwing the ball away.
Casey Keeler, the head football coach at Temple in East Carolina, coming up on Saturday in Philadelphia. Coach, thanks so much for your time today. We certainly appreciate it, and good luck to your Owls this week.
All right, Brian. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And we'll be back with more on the Brian Bailey Show on this Tuesday after this.
And it's 1st and goal for the Johnsons. They're looking to score their dream home. They hand it off to ENC Pirate Realty, Alan Tate, and boom!
Touchdown!
That's a home sold in record time.
It's a great thing they handed it to ENC Pirate Realty. The last drive, they tried to sell their own home and fumbled.
Whether you're buying, selling, or just scouting the field, the winning play is ENC Pirate Realty Alan Tate. Visit ENCPirateRealty.com today, where we bring championship service to every yard. At ENC Pirate Realty Alan Tate, they close the deal or someone walks the plank.
Go Pirates!
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's bow time. The Pork Chop Griller is back at Bojangles for a limited time. We know you missed it in all its tender, marinated glory, and how could you not? Because when you take a juicy, mouth-watering pork chop and sandwich it on a flaky, made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, it's not a flavor you want to say goodbye to. And don't worry, if it could talk, we're pretty sure it would say, I missed you too. Get to the nearest Bojangles and order yours today. It's bow time.
North Carolina State Parks invites you to enjoy camping your way. With the weather changing, booking your own cabin is the perfect solution for your camping getaway. Reserve campsites or cabins today at Jones Lake, Goose Creek, and Cliffs of the Neuse. Whether you enjoy traditional camping or air-conditioned cabins that can be rented with Wi-Fi, your next adventure can include hiking, beautiful scenery, and sunsets by the campfire. For information on booking a cabin, visit ncparks.gov.
This is proud ECU alumni David Price of David Price Construction. As a leading general contracting firm, we specialize in commercial construction and renovation. Whether it's updating your office space, renovating your restaurant, or building a new retail store, our team at David Price Construction is ready to assist. We are committed to delivering quality, value, and customer satisfaction across all of our projects. So give us a call at 919-820-3612 or find us online at davidpriceconstruction.com. Go Pirates.
Ahoy, Pirate Nation. It's game day, and there's only one place to go to gear up, UBE. Whether you're tailgating, storming the stadium, or watching the Pirates play from the couch, do it the Pirate way with UBE. We've got the latest and greatest tees, jerseys, and hats from Adidas, Champion, and Lululemon. Don't forget UBE game day buttons. Available free to the first 500 customers on game day. Set your course for University Book Exchange or shop 24/7 at pirateware.com.
This is Brian Packard, ECU former baseballer. You're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, providing reliable utility solutions to the Greenville region since 1905. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back on this Tuesday. As we continue on, let's talk high school football for the rest of our show today. Conley and Rose set to do battle once again. Will Bland, the head coach of the Rampants, joins us. His Rampants are 5-4 on the year, 3-1 in the Big Carolina Conference. And, Will, this could be for a share of the conference championship if Jacksonville stumbles. Jacksonville plays on Thursday night against White Oak. White Oak has a good football team. You took care of business against White Oak, as did D.H. Conley, but still, stranger things have happened, haven't they?
Oh, yes, especially when it's a rivalry game. You know, them two played each other. They're down in Jacksonville. Two schools that are very familiar with each other. So, you know, it all depends how they come out. I mean, if you throw records out the windows when you play rivalry games, just like our games when we play against Commerce. So you throw it out. It's all about pride and in the community and having the kids go out there and perform in front of each other.
Yeah, and I like Jacksonville's football team. I think Bo has done a great job with that squad, but I saw them play against South Central. I thought they came out flat in that game, and they give up points. So I'm thinking that, you know, in the playoffs, it's going to be difficult to get that long run, even though they're very, very talented. But Jacksonville is beatable, don't you think?
Yeah, and I thought we had our share of miscues against our game. I know we lost by 2 touchdowns, but I think we was right at the end. We could have tied the game in the third quarter, and we had a couple of mistakes. So, you know, at any given day you can be beaten. They just happened to be able to protect the ball a little better than we did, and they just outlasted us a little bit.
Jacksonville beat Rose 35-21. Jacksonville beat D.H. Conley 41-24. So two very similar games against the team that is in first place and probably in the driver's seat for the conference championship. Again, Jacksonville plays White Oak coming up on Thursday night. So you guys will know going into the game on Friday exactly where you stand, because both Rose and Conley game back with one conference loss, 3-1 in the Big Carolina. Has the Big Carolina lived up to its reputation as a pretty good football league this year, Coach?
I think it has. And, you know, we lost Havelock last year in Northside Jacksonville, but then you see what Northside is doing in their conference now has jumped to be one of the top teams in their conference. You know, Havelock right now is struggling a little bit, but they're still the same Havelock. But when you come in our conference, it's night in, night out. You got to be able to compete. You got to be able to play. You can't take any days off, because if you do, you can get beat. So it's a tough conference, and it's always exciting because you never know what you're going to get with any team that you play. It's funny you say that, because for the Coastal 5A, 6A, Northside Jacksonville at 8-1 and 5-0 in league play, playing at Havelock. Havelock's just 4-5, but the Rams are 4-1 in the conference. So that's for the conference championship coming up on Friday night. One of several games that will decide conference outright championships. And it's Havelock's got a really good coaching staff. They've got a really young football team. They took their lumps early on, but I think they're playing pretty good now. I do too. Also, I think they're doing a great job. They moved some guys up from the JV teams, and they had to take some hiccups a little bit, but they've been, like you said, they're 4-1. They've been playing great ball lately, and it's going to be a tough matchup for them too. But they're very familiar with. They came from our conference, so they both know what each other are capable of. So I think it's going to be an exciting game. I think they're playing Thursday night. Also, I think. I haven't heard if they were playing Thursday or not. I have them still at Friday, but I will double check that now that you said that, because it's hard to tell. Why are teams playing on Thursday night? Well, I don't know why they playing on Thursday night. I know why a lot of the schools up in Pitt County are, because, we have that Halloween tradition down in Greenville, downtown. So, want to make sure that we have enough law enforcement to make sure that downtown is safe, as well as trying to get some law enforcement at these games. So that's why I think they moved a lot of the games up. All right, that's something I didn't think about. And it is Halloween coming up on Friday. Hard to believe November the 1st is Saturday. I mean, everything has just absolutely flown by. Let's talk D.H. Conley, J.H. Rose coming up. Conley won last year 45-42, snapping a 4-game losing streak in the series. So your Rampants had won 4 in a row, lost last year. It's the Crosstown Throwdown. You guys still have the belt that you guys pass around? Yes, and Conley got it this last year, so it's at their school right now. That's the first time I haven't had the belt since I've been the head coach. Aha, there you go.
That's good. Get a little needle in there. We'll include that when we talk to Nate coming up in just a bit. That's good stuff. But, as bitter rivals as Conley and Rose are, there's still a lot of friendships between the coaching staffs and in all sports. I think of Ronald Vincent and just his relationship with everybody over at Conley. They're big rivals, obviously. They want to beat one another, but there's a lot of friendships there.
It is, and I get along great with Nate. Ever since I became the head coach, we talk. We try to get some information from each other. Try to perfect the offense. But he's a great guy, he's a great coach. He has great coaches over there that's with him and stuff. And he's gonna do right by the kids and the community. So I respect him very much. 364 days out of the year.
364, but not on 10/31, Halloween, and the last date of the regular season. I read some information about the playoffs. Do you understand how the seedings are going to go, and how much are you looking forward to the postseason?
I'm looking very forward because, I think since I've been coach, we do a great job in the postseason. I think we were able to take our lumps during the regular season, and then all of a sudden we were able to figure out what we need as a coach staff and as players to be able to make a long run in the playoff. And so I'm very excited about it, as always. It's fun times. There's a lot of pressure on us, but, the kids are out there just trying to give it all and know that it's maybe one and done. So you keep winning, you keep advancing. If you lose, you're out. So, and I think our kids like to keep playing through the postseason.
Yeah, last year was one of those magical, it seems like every year one team just finds, lightning in a bottle, and that was the Rose High Rampants last year because you guys went on that magical run and went a long way in the postseason. So, and that's part of it too, is having confidence that time of year, isn't it?
It is, and we was, we could have easily been out of it. The kids could have just been like, "Cause we're done. It's 2-8. We ain't gonna be able to." But the kids showed some grit. They showed some grind. They put their trust in the coaching staff and was able to get in the playoffs and upset a lot of teams that probably counted it out. So I'm looking forward again to this year. I think we're a little different. I don't think people count it out a lot. I think we're going to get everybody's best shot when we get in the playoffs. So we got to make sure that we give our best shot when we play against them.
And things are a little different this year with the 8 classifications. It's not so much a big difference in football because several years ago, the NCHSAA would subdivide for football. So we're used to having 8 classifications in football. Then they took that away for several years. Now we're back to it. In all sports, it's kind of odd that you have 8 classifications. Now, we don't worry about any 8s, on this side of the state, but we do have 7As. We do have 6As, which J.H. Rose is. When you look at that aspect of it, how big a game is this with D.H. Conley as far as where you think you'll be seated?
Well, it's a big game, of course, because they're like I said, they're a 7A school, and right now I think as we look at our RPI, we're sitting at number 9 and on our 6A side. So being able to go in there, hopefully get us a win, with hopefully catapult us a little bit into the top 8, which allow us to have a bye week the first week. So if we can try to take care of business and try to get us a win against a very good football team, then hopefully we'll be sitting pretty when the playoffs start.
Do too many teams make the playoffs?
I'm gonna be an advocate. We made the playoffs last year, 2-8, and we did something special. I think it all depends on how the coaches see it. Now, I thought last year that if we can get in the playoffs, then I thought that our season would turn around because I saw that how the team was improving. But then, some schools were like, all right, well, we don't need to be in playoffs, but they still have the option. Hey, you still have an option where you can decide to tell the NCH that you don't want to play, and they don't have to put you in the playoffs. So I think all the coaches want to at least have an opportunity to get in the playoffs and see if they can do something.
Yeah, and now your situation last year obviously was a little bit different, but some of these teams, like you said, it's nice that they'll give them the option. But with that being said, what kind of coach is going to call up and say, hey, we'd rather not play in the postseason, unless they're just devastated with injuries or their numbers are way, way down or something like that. But you always want your guys to fight, and you guys did fight last year in the playoffs. But I just think that you're talking about the top 8 in the classification getting a bye in the first round. I mean, that's gonna water things down, at least for the first week of the playoffs.
Right, and I agree too. 'Cause I was just talking to our AD about the 1A and the 8A, how they start right away, but then they have a almost a week and a half break before they play in their state championship game because they get a bye week on all round 5.
Wow, I didn't realize that either. Now, is it all based on RPI, or are there other factors that go into it?
It's all based on RPIs, and you can take the conference championship stuff out of it. It's like I said, you can have Havelock, who's playing Northside Jacksonville, who's rated RPI is number 1 probably, and they're at a 15. And if they lose, then I don't think Northside Jacksonville is going to drop 14 spots.
Right, and
they still go in the playoffs higher than they are.
I agree. I agree with that aspect of it, but I still think that a conference championship should mean something, and it should mean something when you go through in the postseason. I just think that that's the goal. To start when you start in August, you start in January. The goal is to win a conference championship.
Yeah, that is true. Like the goal is, hey, you want to be that team at the end of the day that, hey, you're the best team in the conference, and you like you say, our conference is so tough that, like you say, you might have 3 teams with one loss, and hey, we might be the best team, and we get the higher seed. So it's just a sticky situation for everybody, and trying to figure out what's the right way to do this in the postseason is very tricky for the NCAA.
I was mentioning the fact that all sports now have 8 classifications, and we're going to see that, this week because Rose, Conley, Ayden-Grifton, and volleyball all play in the Eastern Finals coming up tonight, and those state championships are Friday and Saturday. In fact, if Conley wins, they'll play on Friday afternoon, and I believe if Ayden-Grifton and Rose wins, they'll play on Saturday, if I remember the schedule correctly. But there you see it right there, that there's the state championships are going to be all over the place in all these sports, and it's a real challenge to try to get them all covered.
Right, and I agree. I mean, and that's why they pushed back the season for football, because they're trying to get all these state championships done this weekend. So, it was like, hey, the season was supposed to be done right after the season was over. Now they pushed it back to Sunday. So, the High School Association is, it's a learning curve right now. So they got to figure out how to be able to make sure everything gets done in an orderly manner so everybody can be good on it.
And some would say they've been on a learning curve for a long time. When you think,
yeah, I agree. It's been a learning curve, and like I said, I've been on a learning curve. 'Cause I haven't been a head coach. I've been coaching for about 20 years, but I've been a head coach for the last 6. So I'm still doing my learning curve, trying to see what all they do, and I'm just trying to learn as I go.
All right, there you go. Will Bland, head coach of the J.H. Rose Rampants. His Rampants take on D.H. Conley in the crosstown throwdown coming up on Friday night. Let's talk Conley football now. What do you see in the Vikings football team?
I see it. They're always different. They're a bunch of different kids. I mean, they're not the biggest kids, it's not the fastest kids, but they do what they're supposed to be. If Nate tells them that they got to play cover 2 and not get nobody to be deep, that's what they're going to do. If the linebacker's supposed to run downhill or cover the flats, they're going to be there. On offense, they are very explosive with the quarterback. He does a great job of leading the offense. And when you look at him, you're like, all right, well, he's not a typical big running back, but they run hard and they get to where they need to go. So, like I said, I think it will be a very competitive game against some guys.
And you've had some issues at quarterback yourself with some injuries. How's everything as far as your health of your team going into this game?
I think we're pretty good. I think Jimmy has got cleared, so hopefully we get him in a little bit in this game, but he's been cleared to come back. Chase Davis has been doing an excellent job for us this season as a backup, and he's had come in there. He led us in some big conference win, led us to a 3-1 mark as the starting quarterback. So I'm very impressed with him, and then I think just having both of them back would be a good thing for us.
Did the season fly by for you? Because it seems like only yesterday we were at Parker's Barbecue and they were putting Rose down as the favorites in the conference to win the conference championship, and all of a sudden now we're in the last week of the regular season.
It is, and I just looked up and good Lord, it's already November 1st and the season ends midway. Game 4, I was like, this has been a long season, but now it's totally fly by. I just can't wait till the playoffs start. I think that's where we get all our money from. That's when you see all the excitement.
All right, Will Bland, head football coach at J.H. Rose. What's the key for your ball club to beat Conley coming up on Friday night?
Well, the key is we got to be able to manage our emotion, and it's going to be a hostile environment there. Like always, they do a great job. So if we can come in there, manage our emotion, and then hopefully get some big plays by the offense and get some big stops on defense, I think we'll be very successful against them. Again, the momentum is going to be there. It's going to always change. So you're playing the Hollywood Crossing, so you got to make sure you have your A game against that group.
Hollywood Crossroads, D.H. Conley and J.H. Rose coming up on Friday night. Will Bland, one of the good guys around. Remember him as a player at Havelock, East Carolina, and then now the head coach of the J.H. Rose Rampants. Does a good job, especially in the playoffs. Will, best of luck coming up against D.H. Conley on Friday night.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, that's Will Bland. We'll take another commercial break. Coming up next, Nate Connor, head coach at D.H. Conley, as we continue on this dreary Tuesday. Back with more after this.
Have you ever seen those exotic aquariums like the guys do in Las Vegas on television? You ever thought about having one of these aquariums in your business? It's more affordable than you think. This is Hal Pruitt with rentafishtank.com. We can make having an aquarium in your business turnkey with no work, cleaning, or hassles for you. Rentafishtank.com creates a relaxing atmosphere and keeps children occupied. Rentafishtank.com already services many dental, pediatric, and doctor offices, plus hospitals and senior living centers. Check us out at rentafishtank.com.
This is John Gavigan with the Gavigan Agency. Our top priority is doing what is best for our members. Whether you are buying a new vehicle, a new home, protecting your family with life insurance, or filing a claim, our agency will be there every step of the way. Our goal is to become a trusted advisor for you and your family for all of your personal and commercial insurance needs. Give us a call in Greenville at 756-1400 for a car, home, business, or life insurance quote today, and give us the opportunity to show you the benefits of doing business with someone who cares.
At Tiebreakers, we pride ourselves on serving
big, juicy wings.
I'm talking
big and juicy.
Our chickens are the same ones that kick sand in the other chickens' faces. If our chickens played football, they'd be linebackers. The competition's chickens, they'd be
skinny little kickers.
Trade those kickers in for linebackers. Join us today for
big, juicy wings.
All season long at Tiebreakers.
Tiebreakers, with 2 locations in Greenville and on Railroad Street in Winterville.
This is Holt Nailers from my friends at Anson Belts, the belts that I wear. Go to ansonbelt.com to find micro-adjustable holeless belts with over 30 plus options of a 1/4 inch apart instead of your typical 5 holes 1 inch apart, always giving you the perfect fit every time. If your waist fluctuates, Anson Belt is great because you can always find the perfect fit any time of the year. ansonbelt.com, over 10,000 combinations to choose from, a belt for every occasion, and the official belt of the Holt Nailers Show.
The Buccaneer Music Hall is your beacon of music in the land of the Pirates in ENC. Open at noon 7 days a week with live music. Come enjoy sports trivia with me, Clip Rock, every Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, it's live local acoustic night, along with line dancing from 7 to 9 on Wednesday. Thursday, there's a brand new lineup with Singo starting at 8, followed by karaoke with DJ Dog. Ladies and free both Friday and Saturday nights with the best local bands in the area. Finish the weekend with free games and DJ Kid Scene.
Y'all come get bugged up.
Pirate fans, it's all hands on deck for East Carolina basketball. The women open the season November 3rd, while the men tip off November 4th. Get your women's season tickets today for as low as $45, while men's season tickets are as low as $125. You can make a difference for Pirate Hoops this fall. Get your season tickets and let's pack Williams Arena at Minges Coliseum this season. Call 1-800-DIAL-ECU or go to ECUPirates.com.
This is Xavier Smith, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community owned, community powered. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back on this Tuesday. Joining us now is Nate Connor, head football coach at D.H. Conley. His Vikings have the crosstown throwdown belt after that 45-42 win last year, snapping a 4-game losing streak to the rivals from J.H. Rose. And Coach Connor joins us now. Coach, how are you on this rainy Tuesday?
Hey, man, we're just trying to stay a little dry out here.
excited. It's always a fun week to be a part of.
I talked to Will Bland a minute ago, and the fact that Jacksonville plays their last game on Thursday, if they stumble against White Oak, and that would be a big upset, but if they do stumble against White Oak, then this would be a huge, huge game. Not that it's not big anyway, because it is Rose, it is Conley, and both of you guys have winning records, and it's always a good time in Pitt County when you guys hook up, but there is a chance this could be for a championship.
Yeah, we're not worried about any of that. It was, disappointing loss we had in Jacksonville last week when we could really control our own destiny.
Yeah.
But it was more just we played hard and worked really hard in the week and didn't win that game. We are solely focused on J.H. Rose and just playing them and the excitement that goes into this game. They have a really good football team this year. They're playing well right now at the biggest time of the year. So, that hasn't even honestly crossed my mind. It's really just been a thought of really trying to take care of business this Friday and win this game.
When you think about Jacksonville and what you guys did, lost 41-24, Rose lost 35-21, that pretty much, if you just look at that game, shows how even Rose and Conley might be.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, I think that is a very comparable. There's times in games that you take a couple of plays here and there in the game, it's a completely different situation, why the game maybe falls out. Now, Jacksonville does that to you, right? They're very sound on offense, so they're just constantly looking for where that water can leak out of the hole, and they seem to find it. So they're really good in those ways, and they have a sound defense that does not give up a lot of explosives. So, but you take a couple plays here and there, and I think either one of us were right in that game. The score late maybe doesn't show that, but there was a lot of possessions, and I think Rose is really playing well once they've got in the conference. They played a good non-conference schedule. They did some things where they were, I think, finding out the identity of their football team early on. They got some young athletes, got some veterans on the offensive and defensive lines, but just figuring out what that identity is, and I think they found it, and they're playing really well.
I would say your team's playing much better since the loss to Farmville Central, which was one of the surprises, I think, of the season. Do you think they've really, took that shock value and really started playing better after that?
There's no doubt that game allowed us to come together and evaluate some things, and that's credit to Farmville Central. They played really well and did that, but it definitely gelled us tighter. I think adversity, what I've been proud of this team all throughout this year is adversity, and we've had moments of it. It reveals character, and it's made us stronger through it. And that moment, losing that football game early in the season, coming off a big win the week before, and then going and dropping a game to a team that played us, really well, and just we did not feel like we played to the best of our abilities, and that's a credit to them that it caused us to lock in. And this has been a lot of fun to coach this football team.
I asked Will Bland this question. Do you think there are too many teams that make the playoffs, or are you in favor of a lot of teams getting in?
It's kind of a catch-22. You like the purity of it when only a select number, and that makes it really special. But you play a tough league. Like you just look at our last 5 games. Right? I think we both did really well in the non-conference, and then you play a really tough schedule that in these weeks, just take the last 3 games of New Bern, Rose, and Jacksonville. And that you could be at 5 games and have the chance to win 8 games, and you go 5-2. But then there's also the chance you're at 5-5 very easily. And so I think it allows you to play a really tough non-conference schedule, and good teams still get the opportunity to not fear some of those things. And you look like a team at Rose last year that shouldn't have been in the playoffs based off of their record, but they again played some tough things, and then things fall their way late in the season, and they're playing well, and then they go on to the 4th round. So I think there's both sides of the argument, but you want it to be special when you make the playoffs.
When you look at this Rose football team on tape, what do you see?
I see size on the most important parts in the offensive and defensive lines. I think they have good size. They're doing a good job with those guys. I think what they've done as of late is really run the football well, and it's given them good balance and control. And I think it's allowed some of their younger athletes to be able to do some things, and you really have to play the run well. They're doing a great job with that defensively. They play a more unique scheme to what maybe they've done in the past, where they're causing some confusion, but it still starts with that defensive line up front. And those same athletes are doing a lot of good things on the back end, but I think it's because of what that box is doing. And so I think it's those lines of scrimmage are really what jump out at you.
Last year, you guys put up 87 points. Conley won at 45-42. Back in 2016, you guys put up 144 points, which was a record at the time, 77-67. So this is a game that provides lots of offense normally, doesn't it?
It is, and I think that's what makes this game in week special. It just gives you bring that up, and it gives you chills, right? I can remember Holt Nailers in his sophomore year, and he actually got hurt and ended up at the hospital, whether it was dehydration or just he was tired, and he ends up and didn't even finish that game, and that game still had that outcome. The lights go out in that game for 20 minutes. It kind of let us catch our breath, and then you got guys like Deuce Fuller going off in that game and just special moments, and then we ended up playing the next year. We play them, and that we've played them twice in a season, and the playoffs following that. It is just there's been a lot of offense, but I tell you, I think we both have two really good defenses this year, and I think we're doing some good things. They're doing great things on the defensive side of the football. When you really look what they did to New Bern last week and what they've done, and I think you got some good defenses this year too playing.
When you look at the RPIs and that kind of thing, trying to seed for playoffs, how big would it be for a win over Rose? And how big would it be if you fall in this game?
Well, I think when you look at that, you got to understand that if you win this game, you end up with a solid record. Again, it helps your RPI because you're playing another really good team. And with all those teams playing it, right, we don't talk about it gives some top seeds some first-round buys. And that's a nice thing for the top teams. And so you give yourself a chance at a bye in the first round when seeding's not coming out till Sunday, which that's really late, and it doesn't allow for you to get as much planning on the weekend as like you did. So it kind of lets you relax and let things play out, maybe get a jump start on your next team that you know you'll be playing one of the two teams that are scheduled in the bracket. So it would definitely be a huge win from those aspects.
When you look at your ball club, what are the strengths that you've found during the season that this club is able to do?
I think our boys play extremely hard, right? And that's what we always want the Conley brand to be. I think we're physical on defense. Maybe last week doesn't show, but I think we've played the run pretty well defensively and done a really nice job with that. Jacksonville's did a really good job against us, but I think for our whole season, that's really been good. And I think on offense, we've been able to really run the ball well when the teams and the defenses have dictated that. Some of the coverages they've been playing and things they've been trying to take away, and it's forced us to run, and we've been able to do that. And I've been really proud of that, both football teams.
How proud of you of what you just said, the Conley brand? Because, I had one come through Conley at the time, and there was a real struggle at the time. There was no Conley brand. But how proud of you that hey, there is a Conley brand. When teams play Conley, they know what they're up against.
It's something I take a whole lot of pride in. I think our boys do, too. It's really neat when you have former players come back around. We had one help us over the summer who had graduated. He was home for the summer and wanted to be involved with us, and it's kind of the tradition he brings back, and he expects of hard work and discipline and guys that just leave it all out on the field. And I think that's what you really want ultimately as a coach, and maybe that's what I think we are. I think we embody those things, and I just hope that reflects when we go out and play.
Does it ever get old for you? I mean, and people ask me that all the time. Does it ever get old? And I say, you know what? If you can't get fired up for 11 weeks of the regular season and 3 weeks, at least for us, 3 weeks in the playoffs with our half-hour show, then you shouldn't be doing this. But, I see the twinkle in your eye in August, and that twinkle's still there come November. Yeah, and I think that's what keeps you going, right? There's no doubt there's hard parts of this job and anything, right? But it's the feeling that I get to talk to you on a Tuesday afternoon, and the excitement that it was what's to come on Friday, and the feelings you get and the pride you get amongst the community of being a part of that is what keeps the fire going. It's special, and getting the impact of the lives of young men. It's awesome. All right, final thought. What has to happen for Conley to win this football game against J.H. Rose Friday night? Plain and simple, we've got to stop the run, and we've got to run the football, and we got to take care of it. You got to win, and I think what is that? The key to football this time of the year, right? They say running football teams travel well and doing all that, and then you've got to be able to play defense. Maybe that plays true more than it ever has. You look back at those 60 and 70-point games, it was really throwing the ball well and doing that, but I think the identity of both these football teams, we have to control the lines of scrimmage. We have to not
get behind in turnovers, which is I think they feast on and they've done a good job of, but we have to be able to run the ball and we have to be able to stop their rushing attack.
Two big keys in football. You got to run the football and you got to stop the run, and I agree 100% on that. Nate Connor joining us. Nate, good luck on Friday night and best of luck in the postseason. We'll check back with you coming up later on.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Maybe we'll get you this Friday. Maybe it's Ken Watley, and I don't know. Maybe we get the big dog.
It'll be one of us, that's for sure. We'll be out there. Conley and Rose coming up the Hollywood Crossroads. That's Nate Connor. We'll take our final break, wrap up this edition of the Brian Bailey Show after this.
Here with Brian Cook, the comptroller for Greenville Motor Company and Greenville Auto World. Talk a little bit about the financing options that you provide.
We're here to help anybody from bad credit, poor credit, rebuilding credit, or great credit. We find the best deal through over 30 lenders here that we work with every day, and we're focused on finding the best fit for all our customers.
One website, two outstanding dealerships, Greenville Motor Company, Greenville Auto World. Try us, trust us at driveherenow.com.
Big news from the Rick House. The Rick House has a brand new menu that you're absolutely going to love. New on the menu are creamy garlic parm chicken pasta, crab cakes, and our new porterhouse, half filet, half strip, tender and juicy, and grilled to perfection. The Rick House is the area's bourbon authority, featuring Willet, Jefferson Tropics, and the Frank Sinatra Select by Jack Daniels. The new menu features new, lower prices and $4 drafts all summer long. The Rick House, Red Bank Road in Greenville. Here it is. Cooler weather is creeping in. Football is in the air. And if climbing up and down stadium steps is a chore for you and your knees or your hips hurt with every step, there may be relief right around the corner. QC Kinetics are medical professionals that use advanced PRP and stem cell protocols that have helped tens of thousands of people with their joint pain. The stem cells come from your own body to revitalize and regenerate your joints. If you've been told you need surgery, you owe it to yourself to get a second opinion. Call QC Kinetics now to get started. 252-765-PAIN.
East Coast Grading and Utilities is your source for clearing, hauling dirt, and concrete work. East Coast Grading and Utilities handles all sewer and water issues as well.
I'm David Vaughn. Whether putting in a new subdivision or helping you with any and all of your drainage problems, I can get the job done. Call me at 531-7494.
No job is too big or too small. East Coast Grading and Utilities. Friends helping friends. 531-7494 for East Coast Grading and Utilities.
A pepperoni pizza for the table.
Thank you.
May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness, while the carbonation and notes of citrus enhance the flavor profile. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time. Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Miss, your burger is served.
Thank you.
And if I may suggest a pairing, this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. The sweetness of Pepsi perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger, while the citrus and carbonation elevates the taste for a truly stunning flavor profile. Bon appetit.
Now that is one perfect combination. If this is how the other half lives, I could get used to this. Burgers deserve Pepsi.
What's up? This is Bryson Worrell, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, working for our community, not for shareholders. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show. Several games on Friday night with championship implications. We talked about Northside Jacksonville at Havelock in the Coastal 5A, 6A. Northside Jacksonville's been a great story all year long. In the Big East 5A, 6A, Rocky Mount plays at Northern Nash for that title coming up. Tarboro at 9-0, 4-0 in the league. Kinston 6-3 and 3-1. So Kinston needs a win to upset that apple cart in the EPC 2A, 3A. And Tarboro's riding that 76-game conference winning streak. The last team to beat Tarboro in a conference game was Kinston. So there's some history there in that one. The Three Rivers 4A, West Craven takes its 8-1, 5-0 record on the road at Eastern Wayne. Eastern Wayne has just one conference loss. Beargrass Charter playing Hobgood. Hobgood just 3-4, but 2-1 in the league, so they have a chance to share that championship. And JP2 and Parrott Academy at 10-0. They play in Kinston coming up. Another big game on Friday, the final Friday night of the regular season, and then it's on to the playoffs. All right, I want to thank Casey Keeler, head football coach at Temple, East Carolina, and Temple at 2 o'clock coming up on Saturday. The Bud Light pregame tailgate kicks off at 10 a.m., and I'll be with Clip Brock to start things off with that one. I want to thank Will Bland, J.H. Rose head coach, and Nate Connor, D.H. Conley head coach, as they play in the Crosstown Throwdown coming up on Friday night. That's our show for this Tuesday. We'll see you back here next week on The Brian Bailey Show.
This has been The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, and also brought to you by
Bostic Sugg, Bojangles, Michelob Ultra, East Coast Grading, Greenville Auto World, Greenville Utilities, Papa John's, Pepsi, Taft and Hagler, The Rick House, and Tiebreakers.
Join us next week for